Her cousin, Pastor Felton Jenkins,
It's a different kind of pain.
spends every day fighting to stop gun violence, but this time,
She is sweet. She's my angel.
the pain is personal.
Every time we see each other, it's a hug, it's a kiss, it's a smile, it's a small dance, you name it. We gonna treat each other up. She was loved by everybody. She was loved by everybody.
2 more shooting victims survived, and police say another person died after a medical emergency. At this point, there are multiple suspects, but no one is in custody.
The screen lit up with sparkles, fireworks exploding over a warm Fort Worth night. Laughter echoed in the background, children dashed across the street, and music pulsed from a nearby speaker. It was July 4th, 2024. Tasha Haymon's phone was steady in her hand, live streaming every moment. Her voice could be heard in the background, bubbly and proud. "We outside, baby. This how we do it in Texas." Then, chaos. A loud crack shattered the celebration. The crowd screamed. The camera jolted sideways. The screen went black. That would be the last broadcast of 39-year-old Latasha Haymon's life. Tasha wasn't just another face in the crowd. She was a beloved makeup artist, the founder of Slay by Shay, a growing beauty brand known across Fort Worth. Her work lit up Instagram feeds. Her client list ran deep, and her laugh, unforgettable. Her fiancé, Tommy Howard, said she had a way of walking into a room and making it warmer. After losing his previous partner to cancer, Tasha helped him smile again. "She saved me," he said. She really did. She had big plans, a future filled with wedding gowns, travel, new clients, and maybe a storefront of her own. But Tasha's life was cut short by gunfire she never saw coming, gunfire she might have accidentally recorded. Her final live stream, meant to share joy, became part of a criminal investigation. Somewhere in that video, between the fireworks and the frenzy, was something or someone authorities believe she wasn't supposed to see. The shots weren't random. There was more to the chaos than reckless celebration. And when it all unfolded, hundreds of people were there. Yet no one wanted to speak. The code of silence grew louder than the bullets. Tasha was hit multiple times, right there in the middle of her own neighborhood. Her body collapsed, just steps away from the friend she had laughed with minutes earlier. Her phone, once glowing with celebration, went dark. The live stream ended mid-broadcast, but the questions had just begun. Why did she die that night? Who was the real target? And did her camera capture a secret someone would kill to hide? If you've ever trusted your surroundings, only to learn too late that danger was near, this story is for you. Subscribe to True Crime Journal, because some stories demand to be told. And this time, we're telling it for Tasha. Latasha Tasha Haymon was born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas. From an early age, she stood out. Not because she was loud or flashy, but because she had a spark. That quiet confidence, that natural glow. People remembered her smile, her warmth, and the way she always made time for others. She grew up surrounded by a tight-knit family that valued tradition, loyalty, and looking good while doing it. As she got older, Tasha turned her passion for beauty into a career. She founded Slay by She, a makeup brand that quickly became one of Fort Worth's most talked about beauty businesses. Her work transformed more than faces, it lifted spirits. Brides, graduates, and everyday women trusted her to make them feel their best. Her client list grew into the hundreds, and her reputation as a skilled, gentle-handed artist spread by word of mouth and glowing Instagram posts. But her talent wasn't the only reason people loved her. Tasha had a way of making every person feel seen. She remembered birthdays. She gave back to local causes. She treated her clients like family, and many became just that. And then, after years of focusing on building her business and healing old wounds, Tasha found love again. She met Tommy Howard, a man who had also been through loss. His fiancée had passed from cancer 4 years earlier, and for a long time he believed he would never love again. But then came Tasha. "She was my angel," Tommy said. "She saved me." Their relationship blossomed. They supported each other, shared goals, and lifted each other through dark days. By the summer of 2024, they were newly engaged, and everyone who knew them could feel how genuine their love was. Tasha loved beauty, family, and celebration. Her Instagram was full of joy. Videos of her doing makeup, spending time with loved ones, and attending community events. Her live streams were popular. She shared her world openly, warmly, always smiling, always stylish. That 4th of July, she was just doing what she always did, showing love, showing life, and showing up for her people. She had no idea that her final live stream would become part of something far darker. It started like any summer celebration. The Castleman Street block party was alive with energy. Music blasted from speakers set up on porches. Kids played tag in the yard. The smell of barbecue drifted through the air. Fireworks crackled overhead, painting the sky in red, white, and blue. Tasha was there in the middle of it all, dressed in red shorts and a white crop top. Her face, as always, perfectly beat. She had her phone out, going live to share the celebration with her followers. Her voice was upbeat, laughing as she waved to people walking by. By 9 p.m., the crowd had swelled to over 200 people. Friends and strangers mixed freely. Cars lined both sides of the street. People danced. Everyone seemed to know someone. But as the night went on, something shifted. The music got louder. The fireworks weren't just going into the sky. They started being aimed at houses, at people. Then came the cars. A few drivers started doing donuts in the intersection of Castleman and Comanche, sending smoke and screeching tires into the crowd. People cheered at first. Then they started backing away. Neighbors, especially the older ones, were upset. Some yelled from porches, some went inside, but the energy in the street was getting harder to control. Tasha kept live streaming. She tried to focus on the positive, panning the camera to the fireworks, laughing with friends, complimenting someone's outfit. Her followers watched in real time as the party turned chaotic. At one point, her phone caught a Fort Worth police cruiser pulling up. The red and blue lights flashed in the background while officers stepped out to assess the scene. It was a moment that felt like a turning point, a brief breath of order. But it didn't last. Within minutes, everything unraveled. The sound of gunfire ripped through the crowd. At first, it was hard to tell what it was. Fireworks? Backfiring car? But then the screaming started. Pure panic. People dropped to the ground. Children cried. Parents screamed their names, crawling over lawn chairs and coolers to grab them. Some ran, some froze. Chaos reigned. Witnesses later said the shots came from more than one direction. It felt like a war zone. The music stopped. The laughter vanished. In the middle of the street, Tasha's phone continued to stream. Then, it jerked. The screen spun. A scream cut through. The phone hit the ground. And then, nothing. Tasha Haymon had been hit. Multiple times. She collapsed just feet from the friend she had been laughing with only moments earlier. Nearby, 26-year-old Marcus Martin Jr., visiting from San Diego, also went down. He had been standing near one of the spinning cars. His fall was quiet, but his absence screamed. Several others were injured. Some grazed, some shot. No one knew where to go. People trampled each other trying to get away. Cars screeched off in panic. Police already nearby rushed in, but by the time they reached the scene, the shooters were gone, and the party had turned into a nightmare. Sirens wailed. Caution tape went up. Officers moved in, trying to clear the crowd and secure the scene. People stood frozen in place, unsure whether it was safe to speak or move. Tommy Howard stood in the chaos, just steps from where Tasha had fallen. He wasn't crying. He looked stunned, like someone had taken the air from his lungs. "She was just here," he kept saying. "She was just here." Tasha was pronounced dead at the scene. Her body was carefully covered, but nothing could cover the heartbreak on Tommy's face. Nearby, Marcus Martin's body was found slumped near the sidewalk. At first, responders thought it might have been a medical emergency, perhaps a seizure or panic attack, but further inspection revealed a gunshot wound. He too was gone. The rest of the crowd offered little help. Many were still in shock. Some were traumatized. Others just didn't want to get involved. Phones were tucked away. Heads were down. Police officers walked from person to person asking questions, but the silence was thick. No one wanted to talk. No one wanted to be the one to point fingers. And in that silence, the weight of what had happened settled in. The Fort Worth Police Department launched a full investigation. The first place they looked? Tasha's live stream. Frame by frame, they watched her final broadcast. They noted the crowd behavior. A small group of men gathered in the background. A red bandana tied to one wrist, a sideways glance at the camera, and then, subtle movement, hands tucked into waistbands. As the stream progressed, things became more chaotic, more yelling, more fireworks. Then just before the screen went black, a brief flash of someone running. Detectives combed through every frame, and then they turned to the shell casings found at the scene. Different calibers, different angles. This wasn't one shooter, it was more than one. That theory changed everything. But the public wasn't cooperating. Witnesses clammed up, fear spread faster than rumors. And while the investigators worked day and night, one question hung heavy in the air. Who brought guns to a block party, and why? The answers were coming, but they would cost more than anyone expected. Ballistics evidence pointed police in the direction of Todrick Rogers. Tips from the neighborhood quietly confirmed what some feared. He had ties to a local street gang, and he'd been seen near the intersection just before the chaos began. Rogers was arrested and charged with manslaughter. Police believed he had fired one of the weapons that night, but something didn't sit right. The shell casings alone made it clear this was a multi-shooter event, and Todrick didn't act alone. Tasha's live stream, once enhanced, gave detectives their next lead. There he was, a man in a black hoodie with a red bandana around his wrist. He glanced directly at Tasha's camera, leaned in, and whispered something to the man next to him. That man was later identified as Javon Matthews, known on the streets as J-Rock, a documented gang affiliate with a record. A warrant was issued, he went on the run. 3 weeks later, U.S. Marshals tracked him down at an apartment complex. He was arrested without incident. Faced with overwhelming evidence, Javon Matthews cracked. He confessed, but what he said shocked even seasoned detectives. The shooting wasn't random. It was a hit. The real target? Marcus Martin Jr. According to Matthews, Martin had betrayed Darnell Foster in a drug deal. $50,000 had gone missing. Foster, angry and embarrassed, planned the hit to send a message. Tasha was just in the wrong place. Live streaming the party, capturing faces, collateral damage, Matthews gave them the final name, the third shooter, the mastermind, Darnell Foster. One by one, justice was served. Todrick Rogers was sentenced to 25 years for manslaughter. Javon J-Rock Matthews got 15 years for his role as a secondary shooter, and Darnell Foster, the man behind it all, received life without the possibility of parole. In court, Tommy Howard broke down when the sentence was read. Her cousin, Pastor Jenkins, called for peace and healing. "We can't undo what's been done," he said, "but we can choose what comes next. One live stream, that's all it took. One moment meant to share joy turned into a piece of evidence. Tasha Haymon was more than a name in the headlines. She was a mother, a friend, a businesswoman, a fiancée. Her life was full of laughter, love, and light, and in the end, her courage to be present, to celebrate life, helped expose the darkness behind it all. What would you have done if you were there? Do you believe this was just about a drug deal, or was it something deeper? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if this story moved you, if Tasha's light touched your heart, hit the like button. Share this story. Subscribe to True Crime Journal because telling the truth saves lives.